Shove it, man!
Alright, it's the leader of the Smack Attack. Listen up for the sound of the rib crack. Recently we watched back The Undertaker's run in WCW, the aim of finding out if it was any good. Whilst there wasn't anything earth-shattering in that run, there were a few interesting bits which had escaped my knowledge. And I did have a good time making that video. So it's time to do that again, this time with Kevin Nash as Vinnie Vegas. I've also got Triple H's Terror Rising coming up shortly. So maybe today we'll find out that Nash had some crazy flip dive as a finisher in the early 90s, or perhaps he feuded with Ric Flair over who could slay the most ladies. You're going to find all that out and more today. Kevin Nash as Vinnie Vegas, was he any good? These were funny times in the world of wrestling before the internet. Wrestlers could be repackaged into something completely different just weeks after they were something else. Kevin Nash went from being a Master Blast, whatever that was, to the Wizard of Oz, to today's gimmick all within a year. Fans would be dumping in their nappies of anger if this happened today. Now those first bad two gimmicks aside, this third one did stick for a bit longer, which is why we'll be focusing on the Vinnie Vegas gimmick over the other stuff. It's the first Clash of the Champions pay-per-view at the start of 1992. Some upbeat music plays and out walks Vinnie Vegas with Nash pulling funny faces and looking high as a kite. Nash screams into the camera, "What's up? It's Vinnie Vegas in the house." He just seems so happy to be doing this, I can't stop laughing. He grabs the referee and tries to talk to someone in the crowd. He then brings his opponent over to talk to someone in the crowd and punches him in the gut. It's just a squash match, but there is something interesting to talk about. For those of you who didn't know, this is the origins of the move Snake Eyes. He picks his opponent up, calls the crowd wankers. No, he's rolling the dice with his hand, and then he drops his opponent on the turnbuckles. That's his finisher. Finishers sure were a lot more basic back then. He screams into the camera again and leaves. I'm not really sure what to think so far, but at least I was entertained. Things quickly change again as he's teamed up with Mr. Hughes and given Harley Race as a manager. It seems like Hughes would be subservient to Vinnie Vegas. He's a bodyguard. Harley Race allows Vinnie Vegas to talk. Vegas is doing a ridiculous, nothing too offensive. Honestly, they're not on TV that much. Even back in 1992, Nash is happy to let his partner do most of the wrestling for the team when they are on the telly. The management from Harley Race just ends randomly. Vegas does get on pay-per-view at Super Bowl 2 in a completely random tag team match against the Z-Man and Van Hammer. The image of Vinnie Vegas walking everybody's favourite grandma down the ramp is just funny to me. Vinnie Vegas and Van Hammer fighting just doesn't go well, and Nash selling for Hammer looks so comical. He gets isolated by the Z-Man and Van Hammer. Now Nash might not have the jackknife at this point, but he does have a couple of other moves at this point. The side Saito suplex looks tidy to me. The normal suplex somehow looks much worse. Ricky Morton loses the match for his team. Just not very good, slightly botchy, and this just doesn't add anything to him. Nash and Mr. Hughes just seem to drift apart. It's not really a big deal, they've hardly featured on the main show. At least Nash still gets to cut a promo whenever he shows up.
Tony Schiavone. With a name like Schiavone, you gotta be a paisan, right? Some guys got a club. They play cards, or maybe do a little gambling. That's about it. It's a club. Ron Simmons, the All-American. Well, Ron, don't think I won't deal from the bottom of the deck against you.
That fake mobster accent and claiming he has hands the size of a toilet seat lid never fails to make the Hawk squawk. Another familiar face enters the video at this point as Vinnie Vegas gets a new tag team partner, Diamond Dallas Page. They are the Vegas Connection, Vinnie V and DDP. Diamond Dallas Page had briefly been in a group with Scott Hall known as the Diamond Mine, but the Diamond Stud and Vinnie Vegas being around at the same time doesn't seem to quite line up, which is a shame. It would have been funny to see them two together. Despite the flashiness and intrigue of the new team, they're still hardly ever on the main show. The biggest match in the career of Vinnie Vegas is up next as he challenges for Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's TV title. Nash doesn't even get an entrance. In this match, Nash hits a Samoan drop, which I just wasn't okay with. Snake Eyes is reversed and Steamboat beats him in a few minutes with a roll-up. The match just wasn't good. Vegas looks sloppy and I'm not even sure where he even goes at this point. Vinnie Vegas also loses a match to Nikita Koloff in 3 minutes. All his charm and arrogance have vanished and he's now just a jobber. The Diamond Exchange also lose to the team of Shane Douglas and Buff Bagwell. How times would change in just 4 years. When they do win a match, it's with an awkward leg drop from Page. The in-ring stuff just isn't very exciting. Page does most of the talking for this team, which is a damn shame because Nash was entertaining me with his mobster accent. The only storyline going is that Nash and Page are jealous of Marcus Buff Bagwell for being named Rookie of the Year. Vinnie Vegas is essentially used as a tune-up match for when Bagwell faces Page on pay-per-view. In a match, Vegas busts open Bagwell's face, and well, surprisingly, Vegas actually beats him through cheating. He seems to occasionally be using a diving shoulder block at this point. Sadly, this is probably the best match so far. WCW decided having Vegas actually have a feud with someone was a good idea, and another match with Bagwell follows. Vegas beats him again. Oh, he does do the snake eyes still. Vegas certainly doesn't look so cocky after that one. Another tag match now against Douglas and Steamboat. Vinnie Vegas is beaten by that famous comedy spot where Steamboat dives on him and falls backwards over Douglas, who is crouching behind him. Classic. What a clumsy goofball. WCW decided to do an arm wrestling tournament. Vinnie Vegas lost to Van Hammer in just the first round. Well, that's something I thought I'd never see. The Vegas Connection are so bored of doing nothing that they form an alliance with Scotty Flamingo, aka Raisin. Their entrance with him at Clash of Champions is just so funny to me. They put so much energy into this terrible thing. They helped Raisin win a boxing match with a glove loaded with water. This team wouldn't last much longer though, as DDP was fired by WCW at the end of 1992. In their final match together, they were unable to beat the Godwins before they even were the damn Godwins. So the Diamond Connection didn't go well. They were two pretty green guys who really only had charisma going for them. But Vinnie Vegas was still in WCW, so what next? Well, he must have got bored doing pointless squash matches, so he found a brand new tag team partner. This is Big Sky. He is a big skinny fat guy from Canada. He might be even taller than Nash, it's hard to tell. After a squash match, they take on Shane Douglas and Ricky Steamboat, that famous team. Sky and Nash hit one of the worst double choke slams of all time. They win this match by DQ. Couldn't these two giants win a match convincingly? Especially their first big match together. Vegas does manage to have his best match of his career so far with Davey Boy Smith in England, but it's another loss unfortunately. Poor Vinnie Vegas, he just needed a couple of meaningful wins. Ultimately, there's several problems with this run. His matches are slow plodding affairs. The crowd are mostly sat in silence. There are no interesting feuds, and the one thing he could do, which is talk, barely even happens at this point in the run. Are all these random squash matches heading anywhere? Probably not. Well, it might have taken this entire video to get to this point, but there is finally a high-profile-ish match. In the main event of Saturday night, Vegas and Sky take on Bulldog and the Stinger Steve Borden. These guys look bigger than ever in this match. If they can't have a good match here, they're never going to have one. Well, it's just the Stinger being isolated for 10 minutes without a single interesting moment. The match breaks down, Vegas holds Sting out to take a boot from his partner, but Sting dodges and Vegas is kicked in the head. Bulldog pins Nash with the power slam. They just didn't show anything here. 14 minutes of my life I'll never get back. That was the final match of Vinnie Vegas on the main show. Nash decided to leave WCW, and this left Big Sky in trouble. He also left WCW shortly after and went on to have a career in the movies, most notably he played Jason in Halloween. The final match for Kevin Nash teaming with Big Sky in WCW would actually air after his WWF debut. They couldn't win as usual. After completely shedding all these bad WCW gimmicks, he would return 3 years later with the NWO. It's crazy how much someone can change in 3 years in wrestling. Think about your own life. Have you really changed much in 3 years? Probably not. You've probably gotten fatter and your girl hates you more than ever. Be the change. Be Kevin Nash. Now this Vinnie Vegas stuff was pretty depressing. There was just way too many wrestlers in WCW and they were often more interested in focusing on the wrong people. Like Eric Watts. I thought we might find some cool aspects of Kevin Nash that are overlooked, but no, it was pretty boring. The ring stuff was bad or boring, no storylines, and when he did get to talk it was entertaining, but it just didn't happen enough. Definitely a guy more suited to the sports entertainment side of wrestling. It's weird when you think about it that Scott Hall's character of Razor Ramon in the WWF had parts of the Vinnie Vegas gimmick going with it. So Vinnie Vegas wasn't good. Maybe it could have been, but I've got to grade what's in front of me, and if you don't agree with that I'll make you pack your bags and flee.